And what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Darkchild80, and I am back with another one. Another one? Another one. This is going to be another WWE 2K wishlist video, and this time it's going to be all about finishers. That's right, WWE 2K family. Laying the smacketh down, opening up a can of whoop ass. So please stay tuned. Like I said, this is going to be a good one, man. So up first, we're going to talk about increased finisher slots. Right now, we're sitting at 2 finishers, and quite frankly now, man, that's just not enough anymore. With so many guys having multiple signatures and finishers, I feel like we at least need 5 slots for each. I would say 5 for finishers and 5 for signatures. This will provide a lot more wiggle room for those guys that have multiple signatures and finishers. I mean, you take a guy like Kevin Owens who has, his cannonball. He has a bunch of different variations of the package power driver. He has his pop-up power bomb. He has a nice variety of moves, so I think we should be able to assign them to those signature and finisher slots and pay them due diligence. So come on with it, 2K. Time to up those slots. Up next is something I think that will be widely beneficial, especially to those guys who only have 1 finisher, and that would be adding finisher packages. Instead of having to add 2 different versions of the Sweet Chin music, why not just add those in packages so that move will be available in all positions that it applies? This way we don't have to choose between a running Sweet Chin music, a corner Sweet Chin music, or just a simple standing one. If we apply the package, then we would have all versions of that move and not have to waste both our finishers. Same could be said for the RKO. I mean, as we all know, Randy can hit this move pretty much from anywhere in the ring, and so I don't feel like we should be penalized and only having to select like 2 versions of it when we can have all of them under 1 finisher slot and leaving us extra finisher slot to assign whatever other moves that we might want. Alright guys, this next one is part Blast from the Past and part expansion of the catch finisher. I would love to see POSSUM finishers. Now I'm pretty sure you guys remember way back when, I think it was like SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 when we had the POSSUM pins. Well, this is basically pretty much the same thing except it would involve finishers. Now, the main guy that comes to mind when I think about POSSUM finishers has to be Taker. I am a huge Taker fan, and I used to love when he would bait people in, and then when they go to try to pick him up, he would grab him by the throat and then sit up and then like hit him with a choke slam. Man, that was so awesome. I used to love that. I think this could also work with not only submissions but other standing finishers as well. I mean, because I've seen plenty of times where you have a submission guy that will bait someone in and then drag them down and lock them in their submission move. And even in cases like you take Randy Orton or Shawn Michaels, they'll sometimes, like when a guy tries to pick them up and as soon as they get to their feet, they may push them off, like in Shawn Michaels' case, and deliver the Sweet Chin music, or Randy might just hit him with an RKO as soon as they get him to his feet. So POSSUM finishers would be an awesome implementation into the game. Again, it would give us that out of nowhere feel, and it's really just an addition to the catch finishers that we have already. Up next is something that has been widely requested throughout the WWE 2K community. I mean, if you check the WWE 2K message boards, you will see that this particular thing is probably one of the most requested things out there. And that is going to be finisher to finisher reversals. Now, obviously, with 2K16, 2K actually did give us a little taste of this with the curb stomp into the RKO. But it is definitely time to take things to the next level. I want to see some choke slams and some attitude adjustments turned into an RKO. A spear reversed into a pedigree. But let's not stop there. How about we show the submission people some love? I would love to see like a clothesline from hell being reversed into a label lock or a cross arm breaker. Or how about a code breaker attempt being reversed into a sharpshooter? These would be some sick additions to the game. And while I'm on the subject of submission finishers, I would like to see some subtle changes to that as well. mainly with the way that you cause an opponent to tap out. Not so much the submission system itself, but just the moves in general. I mean, I personally feel like a move shouldn't make a guy tap out unless it's at least a finisher or signature grade. And I know you guys may or may not agree with this, but I get so salty losing matches to things like sleeper holes and single leg Boston crabs, just regular ass moves in a guy's move set, and that are not even considered finishers or at least a signature. So I think it really needs to be some tweaking along those lines. Because to me, I mean, that's the equivalent of losing to like a scoop slam or, a standard suplex. It's just not realistic, man. So only submission moves that are assigned to a player's signature and finisher slots should activate the submission minigame. All right, guys, up next is something that is a relatively small thing, but I do feel like in this situation, a little bit goes a long way. So with that being said, I would like to see more tired finisher animations. We got a couple of notable ones in WWE 2K16, but I really think 2K needs to expand on this. It is something that I feel would make the presentation overall just a better package. So I really think they need to look into this and expand those tired finishers. Little things like this just really add to those epic 5-star long matches. Again, a small thing, but it really does go a long way. All right, guys, we're getting close to that finish line. So up next, I want to talk a little bit about announce table finishers. These are some of the most devastating and hardcore finishers that you're going to get in the confines of a normal match. Unfortunately, a lot of the current animations don't sell them as such, though, because you'll hit a table finisher and then your guy will just get up immediately. I mean, that's so unrealistic and not on par with what we see in WWE programming. Usually when you put a guy through a table, I mean, you're pretty much down for a while, too. So I don't understand how you can get up immediately after delivering a table finisher. Now, for the sake of clarity, I'm referring to the table finishers that, both guys are actually standing on top of the announce table. These would benefit greatly from better selling animations and just making sure that both guys stay down the appropriate amount of time. Another small addition I would see regarding announce table finishers is just more finishers where the opponents are standing on the floor and putting the guy through the announce table. Most notable, I would like to see just a standard power bomb, but it would also be cool to have Roman Reigns announce table spear as well. I'm sure there are plenty other moves out there as well, so if you guys can think of any, just please post them in the comment section. And all right, moving on to the very last thing on my wish list for finishers, and this one is more so a suggestion than a wish list. But I would kind of like to see 2K play around with finisher mechanics. Right now, finishers are tied to your momentum, but I don't know, man. I'm thinking maybe it's time for a change. You guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Again, if you guys feel like, everything's okay the way it is, if not, post your ideas. I don't know, maybe our finishers could be available at the start of the match, but maybe they could have a system as to where if you try to pull it off too early, it'll be super easy to reverse or something. Or maybe they could use momentum to determine the strength of your finisher. So if you try to pull it off when your momentum is low, then it would only do a percentage of the damage that it would have done. Just something to shake things up a little bit. Because in my opinion, the momentum system makes the game feel more like a fighting game as opposed to a wrestling sim. Another thing regarding finishers that need to be adjusted is the frequency in which people kick out of finishers. It happens entirely too often. Outside of championship matches and pay-per-views, wrestlers rarely kick out of finishers, but it happens way too much in the game. I personally think that if you get hit with a finisher, no matter how early or late in the match, the kick-out minigame shouldn't even start until after the 2 count. So that basically means that you have one opportunity to try to kick out of that finisher. Now, obviously, if it's early in the match, then the kick-out zone is going to be fairly large, so you'll still have a pretty decent chance of kicking out. But it by no means should be an easy task. The way things are now really discounts the impacts of finishers. So there needs to be a better balance between showing finishers their proper respect, but not so much to the point where it feels cheap and not fun. Alright, WWE 2K fans, that is going to do it for this video. Again, please comment and let me know what you think. Subscribe if you haven't already. And do me a favor, before you leave, go ahead and say hello to that like button. As always, thanks for watching. And until next time, 2K fans.
Hey, he's going for it again. Submission locked in, and this might be it. He's in perfect position. Complete control. What a huge win.